If Bobby really wasn't the head coach of Arizona State, I don't know if we'd be talking about this.
What's up, everyone? We are back. Season 2, Episode 3 of Matt's Madness, joined by our very own Ariel Puterman. And let's get to it, guys. We don't have much time today, but we're going to get through some things. And the first topic on hand is, who was the top coaching pickup? There was a lot, but who was your top coaching pickup of this season, Matt? We'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were a lot of great coaching pickups this season, but I just feel like you have to start kind of with Kyle Neptune on Villanova, because to me, that was the most surprising coaching change of the offseason. No one expected Jay Wright to retire and hand it in. And I think for me, the fact that Villanova seemed to already have a plan in place, they didn't go through the coaching search. When Jay Wright retired, they knew immediately that Kyle Neptune was going to follow in the footsteps. So it kind of made me think that even 2-3 years ago, they kind of had this plan in place. Like, we know who the successor to Jay Wright is going to be. And that happened to Kyle Neptune. So for me, I just think that when you hand the reins over to someone who, again, Neptune comes from Fordham, only 1 year of coaching experience as a head coach, but he was an assistant coach in the Villanova system. So he knows exactly what this Wildcats program is all about. And I just think that speaks strongly to me about who he is as a coach and a person, because there's a lot more experienced guys out there, and Villanova is a program that they're not going to take any chances. So they know that this is the right move.
Yeah, pick. I'm going to go with Missouri's new coach, Dennis Gates. It pains me a little bit to say Mizzou did a good job as a Kansas Jayhawk, but I really like the hire. Dennis Gates was great at Cleveland State. They made the tournament 2 years ago, top of the Horizon League last year. And already at Mizzou, he's done a really great job with the transfer portal. He's brought a couple of guys over from Cleveland State that were productive last year. He's brought in a couple other guys. And, the SEC is getting more and more competitive every year. It's slowly becoming not just Kentucky at the top. We're seeing a lot of other schools there, Arkansas, Alabama, LSU, even recently, Auburn. So Mizzou needs to really step up their game. They don't want to be in the middle of the pack. And Dennis Gates has already put them in position to succeed. So I really like that hire for them if they want to get back to being one of those top schools in basketball.
Real quick, I just think that Dennis Gates is obviously a coach that maybe if you follow college basketball from the outside and you don't really watch till March Madness, which I know that a lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with that, Dennis Gates might not be a guy that you have heard of. We both know that he's a really talented coach. He came on our podcast last summer, so great luck to him. I just am a little wary, though, because when you step up from – and I know you could say the same thing about Kyle Neptune, because the Atlantic 10 and Fordham is definitely a step down below the Big East. But, I mean, you go from the Horizon to a power conference, that adjustment might not be that easy.
Yeah, of course, that's going to be a big adjustment, but we've seen people do it before. I mean, look at Nate Oates at Alabama. He went from Buffalo to Alabama. They've been extremely successful since then. So it's definitely doable. I mean, we've seen a lot of coaches go from those lower to higher. I mean, if you're a good coach, odds are you're not going to get your first job at Duke or at Kansas. So you got to start somewhere. And for Dennis Gates, that was Cleveland State, and now he's in Mizzou. And if all goes well, he'll be even higher in the charts in a couple of years.
I do want to say one thing quick for 20 seconds. Obviously, I shouted out Neptune first off, but another good pickup, and I didn't want to put this in the light too much because it's not a power conference, but UMass going and getting Frank Martin from South Carolina is one to keep an eye on.
I like that. Shout out UMass right there. Okay, so on the other side of things, who's the coach that's most on the hot seat? I'm talking the sauna, man. I'm talking it's hotter than ever. They've got to go if they don't perform this season. And actually, Ariel, you get a first shot at this one, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jared Haas, the Stanford head coach. Since he's taken over, they just really haven't been performing. Stanford's relatively always a good basketball school. I wouldn't say they're a top program, but they're always solid. And they haven't really been able to crack the tournament. If they have, really do anything in the tournament. They've had some talent, too. They have Harrison Ingram. They had Zaire Williams 2 years ago. So I think the clock's ticking for him. If they don't make the tournament, they're going to move on from him. So a lot of pressure this year. They have a good team again. Pac-12 is not going to be good, as it always is. So a lot of pressure this year to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously an interesting pick. I'm going with another Pac-12 coach, though, and that's Bobby Hurley, who I had on my hot seat last year. I really don't know how he holds this job at Arizona State anymore. I know that Arizona State maybe is becoming – it seems like it's a better job because Bobby Hurley's there, if that makes sense. Like, if Bobby Hurley wasn't the head coach of Arizona State, I don't know if we'd be talking about this, their head coach being on the hot seat, but it's because he's a big name, obviously the Hurley family. But you have a guy like Remy Martin, and you have a guy like Josh Christopher. I mean, he's had some real good talent come through Arizona State, and they've made 2 NCAA tournaments, and in 7 years, the best record they had was 23-11. Their last 2 were under 500. So he's trending down, and he really never even hit this big high peak. And to put the cherry on top, Remy Martin goes and transfers to Kansas. You know this very well, Ariel. He wins a championship in year 1. So it also shows that maybe Hurley, who has this great player in Remy Martin, wasn't using him correctly, because Remy was still a big part of Kansas. It wasn't like he took a back seat and averaged like 5 points a game or anything. I mean, he had some big games, especially in March Madness. So I look at Hurley and I say, if he doesn't get Arizona State to at least, I'd even say 22, 23 wins this year, I think that they might have to move on, because it just has not worked out for them.
Yeah, and with the Pac-12 being so weak in the past few years, seems like really the only safe coaches are Mick Cronin, Enfield at UNC, and Dana Altman at Oregon. So yeah, there's a lot of eyes to look on. I mean, Wayne Tinkle, if he didn't have that insane run in March Madness 2 years ago, then he'd be gone. Colorado's coach, Tad Boyle, just a bunch of those guys. So yeah, keep an eye on those Pac-12 coaches, because they might not be there for much longer.
All right. I love it. All right, last part of the show. I've got a slate of 12 names here, and we're going to do a little versus battle for you guys. So you guys have to be quick on your feet. Give me the answer, 30 seconds. So here we go. You guys ready? I'll go Matt, then Ariel for all of these. So we'll start with Tony Bennett or Hubert Davis.
I'm going with Hubert Davis. I just think that the way he responded in year 1, it doesn't mean that I'm calling Tony Bennett out. I think he's still a fantastic coach. I think Tony Bennett's the best coach in the ACC still. But going down the line, I think I'd rather have Hubert Davis as my head coach.
I'm gonna go with Tony Bennett. 1 championship. There's so few coaches active that have a championship, and to do it, and he's still pretty young. I think Tony Bennett is really underrated, because he's had a couple not even down years, but just not good years. But Tony Bennett in his prime was a top 3 coach. So I'm going to go with Tony.
Yeah, we got a disagreement right off the top. Anything you want to add, Matt?
No, I think that's good. I mean,
all right, let's keep it moving. John Shire or Kyle Neptune?
Obviously, this is the battle of 2 big-time programs getting 2 new coaches. I already talked about the hire earlier, so I got to go with Kyle Neptune. I can't turn back on him now. I just think that was a tremendous hire on their part. Again, if I'm ranking the Big East coaches going into this specific year, I don't think I have Neptune in the top 5. But again, down the road, it just seemed like a great hire. Duke already had their plan in place. They've been doing this. We didn't know about Villanova doing this. So the fact that it was done under the radar like that makes it seem even more confident.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. It's just always hard to put a coach with no coaching experience ahead of someone who does. So yeah, I'm going to go with Neptune. Next year, probably going to go with Shire, just based on how things go. Maybe not, we'll see. But right now, I think Neptune, just based on the little experience from both.
We will see. And this one might be no, this one's not my favorite. I'll let you guys know my favorite. This one's spooky though. I like this one. Bill Calipari. Bill Calipari. Wow. I'm gonna have to take that one back. Bill Self, or as you probably already guessed it now, John Calipari. Go ahead, Matt.
I think it'd be wrong for me to say Bill Self. It's intriguing to me because John Calipari obviously can get guys to the NBA, but honestly, Self's done the same thing, so that might not be that big of an argument now. I got to go Self. He's coming off the championship. It's too hard for me not to.
Yeah, only coach with 2 college basketball championships that's active. Kentucky hasn't made a tournament or hasn't won a tournament game in 1,000 days. KU just won a national championship. I don't even think it's as close as people make it. I'm going to go with Bill.
Or you could just take Bill Calipari and, just call it a day with that. Okay, moving on. Tom Izzo, and I'll go, Ariel, you're going to go first now. So Tom Izzo or you know it himself, the man himself, Jimmy Boeheim. Who you going with?
I think
there's only one right answer here.
I think this is probably the hardest one, but I'm going to go with Izzo just based on recency. Syracuse in the last 7-ish years just hasn't been that good, and it's kind of under the radar because they always make that weird deep tournament run, and that's because no one could figure out the zone. But Izzo's been more consistent the last couple of years. Boeheim, I mean, his last couple of teams just haven't been good. He's kind of been banking on his sons doing all the work, while Izzo's brought in some good talent. So I'm going to go with Izzo right now. All time, maybe Boeheim, but right now I'm going to go with Izzo.
Maybe. That's fair.
I'm going with Jim Boeheim for the reason that out of the past 7 seasons, Jim Boeheim's led Syracuse to three times to the Sweet 16 or further. Tom Izzo's only done that once, and Michigan State has come into seasons arguably with better teams coming into the year than Cuse. Cuse is often doing it as a worse seed. But I will say that, I mean, it is tough because, again, I just feel like Izzo has done enough where, like, I'd be tempted to say Izzo, but when you go to March, I feel like Boeheim's actually done better in March as of recent.
I love it. All right. This one's my favorite. Shaheen Holloway versus Kevin Willard. Who we got?
Well, you know, I set this one up on purpose. And I didn't do it knowing who I'd pick, so this is actually a raw reaction. I think I still have to go with Kevin Willard. I mean, you get the job at Maryland. You get a great program. To me, a top 10 job in college basketball is Maryland, and Kevin Willard got that job, and it's been something that Maryland has been pushing for. Again, kind of like we've said before, though, if I look at 5 years from now, even 3 years from now, I might say Holloway, but I don't want to bank it off of just one Elite Eight run with St. Peter's. I know that was magical. I know that it shows how great of a coach Shaw is and how Seton Hall should be happy to have him, but Willard just has the track record. And like the argument with Tony Bennett, I mean, Willard is still young. I don't even think he's 50 years old yet.
Keeping it objective. Go ahead, Ariel.
Yeah, this one's insanely difficult because we're really basing Shaheen Holloway's success off of one March Madness run. Not even successful regular seasons, one good run, just one good season overall. While Willard, you know, he's had a couple of good, not great seasons, but he's never been able to perform in March. So I'm going to go with Shaheen just to disagree with you. I think that March success is extremely important. That's why I have problems with guys like Leonard Hamilton who haven't been able to make that Final Four in 30-something years, while Shaheen made that Elite Eight in just like 2-3 years of coaching. Yeah, like you said, time will tell. This could have been a one-hit wonder kind of thing. Even if it is a one-hit wonder, Kevin Willard hasn't really shown that like he's consistent and he's going to take a team to a tournament. So this is a time will tell one, like the Neptune Shire one. But right now, I'll go with Shaheen.
All right, last one. It's a good one. Matt Painter versus Chris Beard.
Yeah, wow. This might be the toughest one.
Yeah, it's tough.
I think for me, I will go with Matt Painter just because his success in March has been getting a little bit better. I feel like the joke before was always don't pick Purdue because they're going to get knocked out in the first round. I don't think that's a joke anymore. We saw how far they made it with Carson Edwards. We saw how good of a team they were last year and how they were threatening to potentially win the whole thing. And I feel like Purdue is becoming that program in the Big Ten where you expect them to be great every single year. Chris Beard's last year with Texas was just a little bit too shaky for me. And I think Painter's overall track record is more.
Yeah, I think this is a big prove-it year for Painter. He's never made that Final Four. This is a 17th season as the Purdue head coach. Last year was obviously his best chance. All he had to do was beat St. Peter's, a 15 seed, and UNC an 8 seed. Couldn't beat St. Peter's. But I'm going to go with Beard. I mean, a national championship appearance. I think last year, you know, all the pressure of being in Texas and having that rival, just being that first-year coach, not really getting to pick your team. It's always difficult to go in year one and do well. We don't see it that often. Hubert Davis was a weird exception because they brought so many guys back. But I think once he gets more adjusted, they'll be a lot better. The Big 12 is insanely competitive right now. Once they move to the SEC, it'll be a little bit easier for him, even though the SEC has gone better in recent years. So I'm going to go with Chris Beard just because of tournament success. And in each of their stints, I think Chris Beard's resume looks a little bit better.
All right. Awesome stuff today, guys. That was a quick one of our quicker ones. Season 2, episode 3 is all but finished. Follow us on social media at CBB Review, Insta, Twitter, whatever you got. TikTok, Matt, you mentioned TikTok to me. Is that the same handle?
Oh, yeah.
Same handle for everything at CBB Review. Follow us. And until next time, for Matt Mlodzinski, Ariel Puterman, and yours truly, we'll see you next time.